The truth about discipline, why willpower is a lie, the misconception that's keeping you stuck. Most people treat lack of discipline like a moral failing, a character weakness, a sign you're not trying hard enough, evidence that some people just have it and others don't. But this entire framework is wrong. What almost nobody understands is that discipline, as it's commonly taught, goes directly against how your brain actually works. This isn't motivational talk. This is neurobiology. Your brain wasn't built for this. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your brain didn't evolve to help you achieve long-term goals. It evolved for one thing, immediate survival. Over millions of years, humans adapted to conserve energy whenever possible, seek quick rewards, avoid unnecessary effort. In other words, your brain doesn't want you to go to the gym. It wants you to stay on the couch because that saves energy. It doesn't want you to write or study. It wants you to scroll TikTok because dopamine comes faster. This isn't a defect. It's biology. The problem? Modern life demands the exact opposite. To succeed today, you need to be disciplined, productive, consistent. But this creates a fundamental conflict. Your brain, optimized like a lazy hunter-gatherer world, demands you function like a focused supercomputer. When you try to force discipline through willpower alone, you're attempting to override millions of years of evolutionary programming with a few motivational quotes. And it doesn't work, at least not for long. The revolutionary insight James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, revealed something that changes everything. Real discipline doesn't come from force. It comes from design. The most consistent people aren't stronger or more motivated than you. They've simply created systems and environments that make the right behavior easy, automatic, and inevitable. They don't fight their brain. They manipulate it. Let me show you how. Why your brain sabotages you to understand discipline. You need to understand what you're working with. For most of human history, our ancestors lived in environments where resources were scarce, survival was uncertain. The only priority was making it to tomorrow. In this context, the brain adapted to prioritize immediate rewards. Eating. Now saving for later, sleeping more, taking risks. Avoiding effort equal to conserving energy for emergencies. Your brain was calibrated generation after generation to seek the quickest, most pleasurable, least costly path. And guess what? That same operating system is still running in you today. When you try to wake up early for the gym, your brain interprets this as a threat to comfort and energy conservation. When you open your laptop to work on a project, it immediately suggests you just check. Social media, because their pleasure is instant, predictable, and guaranteed. The gym, the book, the difficult project, these require effort without immediate reward. Your brain hates that. The critical detail everyone misses, here's what most people don't understand. Your brain isn't rational, it's efficient. It doesn't choose what's best long term. It chooses what requires less energy right now. Neuroscientists call this cognitive ease, the brain's tendency to always choose the path of least resistance. And this choice isn't conscious. It happens before you even decide. The problem isn't lack of willpower, it's a design conflict. Your brain wants to survive and feel good now. You want to evolve and grow long term. As long as these two goals aren't reconciled, you'll continue feeling frustrated, exhausted, and unsuccessful. The battle you can't win, James Clear puts it perfectly. Motivation is overrated. Environment is more important. If you constantly need willpower, you're fighting against your brain's natural structure. And that's a battle you will always lose. Why? Because over time, fatigue wins. And when you're tired, your brain goes back to autopilot, and autopilot always chooses the easiest path. So if you really want to change, the first step isn't to try harder. The first step is to understand what you're dealing with. The real battlefield, your environment now that you understand, your brain seeks the easiest path. We need to examine where this decision actually takes place. Your environment. Most people believe self-control is an inner strength, a moral muscle that just needs strengthening. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. Self-control is fragile, and it crumbles in the face of a poorly designed environment. Think about this scenario. You decide to start working out. You're motivated, determined, ready to transform. But when you wake up, Your workout clothes are crumpled at the bottom of the drawer. Your sneakers are in the car trunk. It's cold outside meanwhile. The couch is 3 steps away. Your phone is in your hand. Instagram is already open. The choice is no longer between good and bad. The choice is between what's available and easy versus what's hidden and laborious. And the brain, as we've seen, always chooses what requires less effort. Choice architecture, the game changer, this is where everything changes. Enter the concept that's transformed thousands of lives, choice architecture. James Clear showed that human behavior is shaped by what's closest, most accessible, most visible. It's not about strength. It's about behavioral engineering. Real-world example in a study Clear cited. Simply moving water bottles to the front of a cafeteria instead of the back, increased water consumption and reduced soda consumption without any motivational campaign or prohibition. What changed? The environment. The decision became easier. When a healthy decision becomes the simplest option, the brain doesn't resist. It follows. Redesigning your life now, apply this to yourself. Want to read more? Leave the book on your pillow, not in a drawer. Want to stop phone distractions? Turn off notifications, hide the device, use blocking apps. Want to wake up and work out? Leave your clothes ready next to the bed, like setting a trap for your own resistance. Because here's what you need to understand. Discipline doesn't come from effort. It comes from preparation. Disciplined people aren't stronger. They're smarter about how they set up their space, rituals, and triggers. They know that when the right environment is established, good behavior becomes almost inevitable. They don't rely on motivation. They create systems where the right behavior requires less energy than the wrong one. The engineering mindset, you need to stop relying on self-control and start designing your environment like an engineer of your own mind. A behavior that requires conscious effort today can become automatic tomorrow if it's properly anchored in your environment. But what if you could go even further? What if instead of just removing obstacles, you could hack the habits your brain already performs on autopilot? Habit stacking, hijacking your autopilot, you've understood 2 brutal truths. Your brain is biologically programmed to avoid effort. Your environment shapes behavior more than willpower. But how do you actually transform desired habits into automatic behaviors? How do you move from intention to execution without relying on volatile motivation? The answer, habit stacking. How your brain actually works, your brain operates on habit loops with 3 parts: cue, trigger, routine, action, reward, benefit. These loops are already running in you unconsciously. You brush your teeth when you wake up, you check your phone when you sit down. You make coffee when you enter the kitchen. These actions require no effort because they're already part of your automatic structure. The brilliant strategy habit stacking is simple but powerful. Instead of creating a new habit from scratch, connect it to an existing habit. You leverage a cue that's already rooted in your brain to implant a new desired action with much less resistance. Examples: after brushing your teeth, automatic habit, meditate for 2 minutes after making breakfast. Write 1 page in your journal after locking the front door. Repeat a focused affirmation for the day. This sequence creates neural coupling. Your brain starts automatically associating the new behavior with the old one. You're hijacking the automatic routine to hack discipline. Why this works, the biggest barrier to any habit is the start. Initiating action requires more mental energy than maintaining it. Once you're in motion, inertia works in your favor. Habit stacking creates momentum. And momentum more than willpower keeps behaviors consistent over time. The strategic requirements, you can't stack just any habit anywhere. The new action needs to be short. Start with something under 2 minutes. Clear, read 1 page, not read more immediate, happen. Right after the previous habit, no pause, follow this logic. And you'll create mental tracks that make discipline inevitable. You won't have to decide if you want to do it. Your body will simply do it. That's the real victory, when the right action happens before doubt arises, before laziness sets in, before rationalization convinces you to give up. The exponential effect, these small stacks, almost insignificant at first, accumulate over time exponentially. They transform into solid routines. When you look back, You realize you've built an entire lifestyle on connected micro-habits. But if all this is so powerful, why do people still procrastinate, even when they know what to do? The truth about procrastination, the word procrastination carries enormous weight. For most people, it's associated with failure, weakness, lack of ambition. It's common to hear, "I'm so lazy," or "I just can't get organized." But this narrative is completely wrong and worse. It's self-destructive. According to James Clear, procrastination is not a personality flaw. It's a symptom, a clear sign that your environment, habits, and systems have been poorly designed. Why you really procrastinate. When you procrastinate, it's not because you don't want to act. It's because acting the way your life is currently set up requires too much effort, is unappealing, and doesn't generate immediate reward. Your brain operates on quick rewards. That's why it avoids tasks that seem difficult, boring, time-consuming, lacking clear. Immediate gratification studying requires focus, energy, and offers abstract return, knowledge useful only in the future. Opening YouTube or Instagram provides immediate reward with no effort and varied stimuli. For the brain, the choice is obvious. It's not morality, it's neuroscience. The 4 laws of behavior change, James Clear, identified 4 pillars for making any habit easy to maintain. 1. Make it obvious. If the desired habit is hidden or out of sight, it will be forgotten. What is visible is what will be done. 2. Make it attractive. The habit needs to generate anticipation of pleasure. Associate it with something you already enjoy or make the process lighter and more interesting. Make it easy. The more friction, the lower the chance of execution. Reduce the habit to its simplest form until it's impossible to say no for. Make it satisfying. The behavior needs to generate a sense of completion, of reward. Without this, the brain doesn't create attachment to the habit. The transformation action before poorly designed. Study material buried in backpack desks, cluttered with random objects. TV is on plans to study for a full hour with no breaks, no tracking or reward system result. Opens phone, scrolls TikTok, feels guilty, tries again tomorrow, fails again. After well-designed with 4 laws, study material already open on table, obvious, starts with favorite drink or relaxing music, attractive. We'll study just 5 minutes at first with simple goals, easy, marks progress, on board app, earns small reward like a show episode, satisfying, see the difference, the person didn't improve, they learned to design. The right behavior. Discipline is an illusion when the system is poorly made, and a natural consequence when the system is well designed. The diagnostic question every time you avoid something, ask, is this action obvious? Is it minimally attractive? Is it easy to start? Is it generating any reward? If the answer is no to 1 or more questions, you have a design problem, not a discipline problem. When you apply these laws consistently, procrastination disappears almost effortlessly. You don't force yourself to act. The action happens naturally. The myth of loving the process. There's a popular but dangerous idea. You need to enjoy the process to become disciplined. How many times have you heard, fall in love with the routine love journey? Do what you love and you'll never work. It sounds beautiful, but it's false. And worse, it's demotivating. Here's the harsh but liberating truth. You don't need to like discipline. You just need to make it inevitable. What productive people actually do, highly productive people, don't wake up every day wanting to do what needs to be done. They don't feel excited about every task. They don't have infinite energy. What they have is a structure that ensures the right actions happen, even when they don't feel like it. And that changes everything. The 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, motivation dependent. You want to run in the morning. You have good reasons. But on 9 out of 10 days, you wake up without desire. Your body craves more sleep. Your mind seeks excuses, too cold, too hot, raining, today's not the best day. The habit dies. Scenario 2, system dependent. Before bed, you leave running shoes and clothes next to your bed. Place phone alarm far away, forcing you to get up. Cue an energetic playlist that starts when alarm goes off. Have a workout partner waiting at 6:30 a.m. Already know the route. Have a light breakfast prepared for afterward. In this scenario, running hasn't become more enjoyable. It remains demanding, but you've reduced friction so much and increased structure so much that running has become the path of least resistance. The decision was made before the desire appeared. Systems versus motivation in the realm of motivation. Everything depends on mood, energy, and momentary enthusiasm. In the realm of systems, action is automatic. It's the default, the only logical choice. James Clear, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Your future won't be defined by intentions, but by daily habits. And the more automated these habits are, the less you'll depend on motivation, that unstable resource so many chase. Saying, I don't like routine, or I hate waking up early, is no longer a valid excuse. No one needs to love these things. You just need to make them so well integrated that they cease to be a choice and become part of your identity. The deepest level, identity, after everything we've discussed, one thing is clear: discipline is not an innate virtue or mystical talent reserved for the enlightened. Discipline is a side effect, a natural consequence of a well-designed system, an intentional environment, a solid identity. When these elements align, acting with discipline ceases to be constant effort and becomes your new normal. The core of transformation, no change in habit, routine, or behavior, will truly last if there's no change in how you see yourself. James Clear argues that the deepest level of behavior change isn't what you want to achieve. It's who you decide to be. Identity shapes habits. Habits reinforce identity. It's a cycle. If you want to be disciplined, you need to start acting like someone who believes they are disciplined. Votes for your new self, small daily decision, seemingly insignificant, are votes of affirmation in the direction of a new identity. Every time you train, even when you don't feel like it, choose to read instead of scrolling, execute. Even for just 2 minutes, you're telling yourself, I am the kind of person who does what needs to be done. This is more powerful than any motivational video, technique, or elaborate plan, because you're not just trying to act differently. You're becoming someone different. When identity changes, behavior follows as a natural consequence. The real game, real discipline, isn't the ultimate goal. It's merely the reflection of a mind that has learned to play the right game, stopped fighting again. Their brain started designing a path of least resistance for correct behavior understood. They don't need to win by force, just by structure your choice right now. If you've made it this far, you have a real choice. You can continue blaming yourself for not being strong enough, or you can start today to build the environment, habits, and identity that make discipline inevitable. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop punishing yourself for lacking infinite willpower. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent enough to let the system do the work for you. The first step, what is the first habit you will redesign starting today? Think about it. Write it down, because the simple act of writing is already a vote for your new identity. Remember, discipline is not about being stronger. It's about being smarter. It's not about fighting your nature. It's about designing around it. It's not about motivation. It's about architecture. And when you understand that, when you start trying to force discipline and start engineering it, everything changes. Not because you became a different person overnight, but because you finally learned to work with your brain instead of against it. And that's the only kind of discipline that lasts.